So as I understand, there is need for more community participation for the survey.
Part of the challenge, Jason, on this household income expenditure survey is the refusal of the households that have been identified in the sample, meaning the enumerators are encountering these difficulties coming up to the assigned household and then knowing that there's probably somebody in the house but nobody wants to come out and engage with who that guest might be. And we're getting that feedback from our enumerators, trying to say what's the best way to counter that, where a household just do not acknowledge who's outside in the driveway or knocking on the door.
Are they in any way? Do they have like a uniform or maybe like a day glow? Like the
Yes.
like the safety patrol.
There's a standard fill
Okay.
attire with the badge, with the safety vests. Even their vehicles have the placard that says these are official survey enumerators for this particular purpose. So even that is a bit challenging for the enumerators to constantly go out to those homes and try to solicit that engagement through the survey. So our part, at least from the University of Guam and the government of Guam, is to try and reach out to the community by the media to just get the word out, or more so in this second round, is to appeal to the community that this particular survey is essential for Guam.
Okay, Mike, is this rate of refusal, is this any higher or any lower than, like, say, comparable markets of our size or even like in the mainland?
Oh, I hate to say it, but this is the worst I've ever seen.
Oh.
I've been doing, I've done at least 25 of this type of survey, and it's very high, and it's understandable. I mean, we know people are busy and they're also afraid, and a lot of stuff has been going on, but it's essential that we get the information because it's the only way of getting the new market basket and then measuring inflation. It has to be done on a large scale. Just to re-emphasize what you saw before in the last interview is that this sample was generated from something that the Guam Power Authority gave us without any names, but they gave us a listing of all the houses that have electricity. And so we were able to get a random sample. So the people who are in this sample, the people that the enumerators go see, they were selected completely randomly without names. Their information is always confidential. No names are go into the computer and so forth. So if people are willing to cooperate, we're going to get good data. If they aren't, it's unlikely that we will get good data.
To what would the both of you gentlemen attribute, the reason for the pushback? Because I'm thinking, I mean, there is a high rate of crime these days, so people might be a little bit hesitant to letting a stranger at least to their doorstep, if not in their house. Everybody's always on Facebook and they're always on the phone, so they may be preoccupied at the time. It's summertime, so people have things going on.
Yeah.
I also happen to know there are at least 2 or 3 other telemarketing campaigns going on at the same time, so people may say, "Oh man, I already did that." So, but from your perspective, as people who do this, what do you think is the reason?
Well, I think one of the problems is that there are so many things going on, and not only what you're mentioning, which are important, but also people's lives are very busy here, and so they may not even know that the survey is going on, because as you point out, there are quite a few surveys, but this one is particularly important because it can only be done once. It's usually done in years ending in 5, but it slipped here. In the U.S. it's done much more frequently, but in the islands it's done about every 10 years. This one, it's been 14 years. So basically, people are seeing inflation based on 2005 living on Guam, and a lot has changed since then on Guam. So we need current information.
Okay, Pete. So if a surveyor or an evaluator may have come to my house, but either I didn't want to participate at the time, or say, like I was away and, one of my kids answered or something like that, is there a chance that person would do a follow-up again, or if I would now like to participate?
Yes, what we're finding in some of our mail-out campaign, where the household receives a brochure about the survey, is they would call up the office saying, "How could I participate?" And that counters the random sample. But what we're trying to do is make sure that when the word is pushed out, whether it's through your village mayor or through those that are from government agencies, that this is a legitimate survey. It's something that is important, at least for the most part, the government fiscal financial planning, because you're looking at household relationship to expenditures. Where does the money go in a typical household? So when you're looking at how to adjust wage rates, how to look at how employment impacts a household, it's the ability to pay and finance these things. I think that's the message that's not getting out to the community about the importance of why it's difficult to find the kinds of quality jobs that people are striving to look for. But at the same time, when you deal with the realities of paying for the cost of living, it all boils down to how are the policies impacting those that are working as well as those that are unemployed. So the message to the community is that this is if the one government survey that is essential for government to do much of its fiscal planning work. I think this particular survey that we need to all rally behind and really support. So my network from a University of Guam, if the entire 800 employee base, at any given time were to all find one household and say, just push the message that this is an important work. Imagine that one per employee return on just pushing the word out. Maybe we might not get all 800, but I think we're going to get a good response rate by at least people inquiring, how can I participate?
So this is as important, if not equally important, to almost like an election word, voting, because you have a direct opportunity to lend your voice, and in this case your data, to what will become essentially policy.
Yeah, it's not only that, but when people, whether it's private sector or public sector, when an agency is looking to give raises, they look at what's the inflation rate. This gives the inflation rate. So this is important for both the public and the private sector. Right now, the inflation is based on what was going on in 2005. So it's very important that people cooperate so that we can get the very highest quality results, so that when it's put in place to measure inflation from quarter to quarter, then they'll have the best results for making those decisions about that kind of thing.
Okay, and people wrap up with this. Once again, just so people know when they can expect the evaluators to be coming around. What are the days of the week and times of day?
The after every training that an enumerator and then every reminder that enumerators get to really don't get disheartened by the high refusal is to continue to just identify, read homes that you're assigned to. If it's one big challenge is a gated house, there are ways to reach that household by reaching out to the mayors and acknowledging does anybody know who lives there, and that's the challenge that we're getting also from the main office is how do we identify the homes that are actual people living in. There are some homes that have active meters but there's nobody physically residing there. So that's some of the challenges that we are also finding. So if the enumerators are seen with their vests, with their placard, and they're coming up, we have the number that they can call the office to verify if this is a legitimate household that's been identified, and making sure that there's that challenge that somebody could also misrepresent the enumerators, but there's always it's always best to be cautious about who knocks on your door and how that's also being answered.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much, and hopefully next time we talk to you, we'll have a much more positive and productive results.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, thank you.